Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for registration for this Finalyzer webinar, and I extend a very hearty welcome to all of you. I am Ashu Sharma. I'm taking care of a retail and digital commerce practice in Godrej Infotech. I've been here in Godrej for more than a decade, and I have overall 18 years of experience in retail and digital commerce. Here, I'm pleased to announce and introduce Mr. Karthik Ganeshan, who is the co-founder and director of Beyond Square Solution. His extensive experience of more than 2 decades in financial services and it proved to be a significant ascent into your organization and a digital transformation journey. Uh, I'll just maybe start up with a quick agendas for today's. Yeah. So I've kept a quick agenda for today, which is why digitization is required for CFO. And then I'll over to Mr. Karthik Ganeshan to take about the complete financial journey. We'll be also talking about the key differentiator, and then we'll open a floor for question and answer. So that's a quick agendas for today. Now, if I talk about digitization required for CFO. So there are certain aspect to it. And to start with, digitization, it holds a paramount interface and important to the CFOs due to their central role in the entire strategic planning and the financial disciplines. So that's the key gamut of this today's agenda. And CFO are predominantly ideally positioned to drive, and they are the drivers for the digital transformation. Digital solutions can aid CFOs in enhancing the financial analysis, reporting, and boosting their productivity and fortlighting their strategic role within a company. To name a few, like if I talk about data analytics, a CFO can really extract, if I have to say, valuable insight by doing a data analytics into a financial performances by utilizing the certain data analytics tools. Automation, which is predominantly the key element in the entire journey, and automation of a manual task, which is converting all your invoices processing and financial close activities, which on not only conserve the time, but also it mitigate the risk of errors which will bound to come. All are the major gamut of the AI supported tools are forecasting, and the AI driven forecast models, it augment accuracy and the reliability. When it comes to the cloud solution, the entire cloud solution platform, and it is AI driven platform which is cloud enabled, which provides you the scalability, flexibility, and the reliability in terms of cost effectiveness. Digital dashboard in terms of having the real time data visualization dashboard completely equip the entire CFO to monitor their key metrics, the performance, and they respond promptly to by the changing circumstances. And when you talk about, I have give a quick insight of that. Today's session is predominantly on the Finalyzer. Now, Finalyzer is actually a tool which is gives a business insight for everyone. It's a cloud-enabled, cloud-based tool which predominantly used for financial reporting and for forecasting and analysis. With Finalyzer, you can dedicate more time of doing analysis and putting a less time on the data preparation part. And it's a comprehensive tool and a platform by automating all aspects of your management reporting, statutory reporting, and the financial consolidation. With this part, I'll hand over session to Mr. Karthik Ganeshan to take the journey from here, and I'll join back in the end of the slide or end of the presentation. And during that, there's one note, you can put your question and answer in the QA chat window, and from there we will address all your questions. With that, I'll hand over session to Mr. Karthik. Karthik, over to you. Yeah, Karthik, you have to unmute. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashu, for the introduction and setting the stage. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here with you on this Godrej webinar. Thank you so much for inviting me for this session. Um, Finalizer journey for me is almost a personal journey as well, because this is something that three co-founders, we are all ex-Infosians who started this company almost more than a decade ago. And what has prompted us to build Finalyzer itself is a very interesting story, right? So Ashu, you spoke about various aspects of automation for the CFO. You spoke about uh, analytics. You spoke about predictive forecasting, AI driven analytics, assisted like invoicing or whatever, assisted
Yeah.
robotic process automation. Various aspects you covered as part of setting the stage for how automation helps the CFO today.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, let me just put this on presentation view.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to reporting or financial reporting, our experience has been that there are multiple hurdles that the CFOs face when they digitize financial reporting. And my thoughts go back to almost 11, 12 years back. One day I was having lunch with a senior partner at Deloitte, and he told me that Karthik, we have sent a man on the moon today. There has been so much of progress in technology. We started with a landline phone, and today, cellulars have become a all-in-one and all-encompassing, tools or devices. But when it comes to financial reporting, a lot of aspects of reporting are still manual, right? And that is unfortunate because CFOs are the custodians of the company's data. The entire business performance of a company, very intelligent analytics or things that drive decision making, they are the custodians of the data. And if they have challenges in bringing that information together and help in reporting, then it of course is a bit of a concern, because where if the CFOs do not have good automation options, where do they go from there, right? um, Incidentally, taking the man on the moon example further, incidentally, a few years later, Intel came to us, and Intel is a client of Finalyzer. And Intel India had to literally build their entire books from the transaction, the GL dump, the transaction data. They had to reclassify the entire information manually to build their schedules and then roll it up to build their financial statements, right? And it was very surprising for me because uh, Intel has chips that sit on the rocket that goes to the moon, right? So why would a company that is on the cutting edge of technology be doing something so manually, right? Because their SAP was driven from the US. The groupings were determined, all the GL accounts, all the groupings were determined from the US. For them to do IND-AS based regroupings to prepare their financial statements was a humongous exercise, and it was all manual, right? So this set me thinking as to, can I categorize or classify the problems that CFOs are facing when it comes to financial reporting in broadly two, three, four buckets. And that is how I was able to, uh, broadly say that the entire problem of reporting can be broadly broken down into three buckets, three broad buckets: multiple entities, multiple segments, and multiple stakeholders. So if you take any business that is mid-size, large, or a very large enterprise, typically you will find these set of problems, definitely they will be facing at least one or more of them. The first bucket, which is the multiple entity problem, is where we are talking about consolidation. So organization that has multiple entities, subsidiaries, branches, divisions, associates, joint ventures, etc. For them, consolidation is a huge challenge because they may have complex holding structures in which the companies have to be consolidated. More often than not, the growth of an organization happens inorganically, so through mergers and acquisitions, which means that they have companies that use different ERP systems or accounting systems, so they have multiple chart of accounts. More often than not, they have presence not just in one country but multiple countries. Within each country, the country has its own local gap reporting requirement. But when it comes to consolidation, the consolidation has to happen as per the jurisdiction of the holding company, which means those foreign subsidiaries have to do restatement of their financials as per the target gap standards. There is forex handling that needs to be managed. Period differences. So if we are talking about India, we have a April to March reporting cycle. Most countries have a Jan to December reporting cycle. So if I am consolidating a foreign subsidiary in India, then I need to also take care of converting the trial balances as per the reporting period in India. And a very big problem that companies face is intercompany elimination. So those transactions that happen between any of the companies in the group have to be eliminated for consolidation, and that's a huge challenge, right? Which needs to be handled. Again, many times the holding of one company in another company need not be 100%. So if there's a less than 100% holding, non-controlling interests, computations of non-controlling interests, etc., those kind of challenges come into play. So these are the typical consolidation challenges that every CFO of a multi-entity organization regularly faces. The second bucket, which is the multiple segment bucket, is where even a standalone entity, if it's a single entity organization as well, they will have different business units, different service lines, different product lines, different customer categories, different regions in which they operate. And if I want to analyze the performance of my company, I need to be able to slice it by these different dimensions. This is again a big problem because most of the times this slicing and dicing happens in Excel. So the base data is first extracted and then it is constructed and then the slicing and dicing is manually done. There is another big problem when it comes to this profitability reporting, segment wise profitability reporting, that is allocation of the common costs, right? So when I am looking at the profitability by project, let us take an example that I am a service company and I am executing number of projects and I want to look at the profitability of my company by project, each project whether it is profitable or not. It is not enough if I just look at profitability till the gross margin. It is wise for me to take my overhead costs like my finance cost, HR cost, IT cost, admin cost, etc., and allocate it out to each of my projects so that now when I look at my profitability, I'm not just looking at it till gross margin, but all the way down till EBITDA. Right? This is a problem again because most ERPs configuring these allocation rules is extremely cumbersome, and even more difficult is it for changing those allocation rules. So almost always companies take it out in Excel and then they do manual adjustments or manual allocations and then they look at the P&Ls. The third bucket is where you have multiple stakeholders, right? Going back to the first example that I am a global organization with subsidiaries outside India, I need to be able to report to multiple stakeholders, and in each of the jurisdiction that I am present, the accounting standards may be different, right? So even though the world is converging towards IFRS, every country has their own flavor of IFRS. So in India, we call it Ind AS. Other countries have Malaysian FRS or Vietnamese FRS and all of that. So each one has a variation of the IFRS that they use to suit their local requirement. And then there is US GAAP, etc. So how can a single platform take care of regrouping of my accounts to meet the different reporting requirements of the different regulators? This becomes a huge challenge. And then that is from an external reporting perspective. Then there are my internal stakeholders, the senior management in the company, the board of directors, and my investors. How do I take care of presenting information to them so that they can make decisions in a sensible manner? Now, the requirements of internal reporting can be very different compared to statutory financial reporting, right? Because when I'm looking at internal reporting, I want actionable insights. I want to know what have I budgeted? What is my actual performance? How much is the variance between my actual and budget? What is my rolling forecast? What is my predictive forecast? Various things I want to know. Secondly, when I'm looking at management reporting, I want key performance indicators that can quickly tell me whether I'm doing well on various parameters, liquidity parameters, sustainability parameters, etc. And this also not just presenting me that information, I need to be told whether something is doing well or not well. I need to be alerted when, let's say, my liquidity is in a bad position, because then I need to make sure that I provide enough capital for my company to run. Right. Apart from this, there are other regulators. Many companies are governed by different regulators. Banks are regulated by RBI, insurance companies are regulated by IRDAI, NBFCs are regulated by RBI, etc. So, in addition to the consolidation and financial reporting that we prepare as per Ind AS, IGAP, etc., we also need to generate specific disclosures that are required by these various regulators, right? So these are the different stakeholders that come into play, and we need to solve the problem of regrouping information as per the requirements of these various stakeholders. So only when we are able to bring the base data and enhance it to take into account various accounting treatments that are required for consolidation, segmental reporting, or multi-stakeholder reporting, only then the question of visualization and reporting comes into play. Till that time, I am only working on the data that has come, and I am enhancing that data. Only once the data is ready for reporting, then we talk of multi-period analytics, dashboards, variance analysis, KPIs, and lastly, print ready financial statement. This is a big area in itself, right? Because when we talk of financial statement reporting, the financial statement format is fairly extensive. There is balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow, and some of the schedules that support the balance sheet and P&L. But there are also notes to accounts that talk about various supporting information that goes into, for example, what is the fixed asset schedule, or right of use of assets, or my inventory schedule, my borrowing schedule, etc., which gives me a further breakup of the top level number. Preparing these kind of notes to accounts is extremely cumbersome because this data doesn't directly come from the trial balance. So you need to go one level lower to the transaction data or subledger data and then consolidate that information. So like that, there are a bunch of problems which I will come to subsequently on preparing print-ready financial statements. And any accountant who prepares a financial statement can tell you that they spend a number of days preparing this manually. So the different visualization requirements of different stakeholders poses an additional challenge when it comes to automation of reporting. And this is the problem that we are trying to solve with Finalyzer. Before I go into what are the options or different possibilities that exist, I want to just elaborate on preparing a financial statement, because many of you today in the call may not be having a consolidation related challenge, but you still will have a financial statement preparation related challenge. So I want to just quickly highlight some of the issues that you might be facing for a standalone financial statement reporting, right? First is, it is quite possible that you are a standalone company, but you have to also roll into a group. And for that group reporting purpose, you have to prepare your financials as per a different standard. Let us take the example of you being an Indian entity and you have to prepare your financials as per India's reporting, and you are part of a group which is, say, in Singapore, and as part of the Singapore consolidation, you also have to give them your financials as per IFRS. Now, there are multiple issues here. First is, how do you group the GL accounts, A as per Ind AS and B as per IFRS? How do you take care of your gap restatements that are required for your IFRS reporting? How do you take care of the currency translation from INR to SGD? So those kind of issues come into play. Then cash flow preparation. I have found that many organizations have attempted to automate their consolidation or financial preparation through various tools, but still 80-90% of the cases, cash flow preparation is manual. Segment reporting, I already spoke about segment reporting, but even in your preparing your statutory financial statements, you may have various segments that you have to report. And preparing segmental reporting is almost like consolidation because you have to do inter-segment elimination, you have to prepare segmental P&L, balance sheet, etc. And this can be quite challenging. Print ready financials, I spoke about having the ability to download a print ready financials, which has linkages from the face of the balance sheet or P&L to the schedules, from the schedules to the GL groupings, so that it becomes one single document that you're able to download from the system in an automated manner and then share with your auditor and retain the same flexibility that you currently have when you prepare the financials manually, right? Additionally, financial statement preparation is not most of the times a single click kind of a process because as I told earlier, once the data comes in from the ERP, there are some checks and balances to be put in place. There are a set of tasks and activities that you need to perform to make sure that the data is ready for distribution. So you need to have a set of process controls, tasks, checklists that are assigned to people so that they know what they need to do, when they need to do, and your reporting process is happens on time and happens successfully. The other issue that you face when you prepare financial statements is related to data controls. So you have certain values that are coming at a schedule level, and then there are values that are coming from the trial balance. It's imperative for you to check whether the schedule values are matching with the GL balances. So these kind of control checks are very important for you to make sure that there are no errors when you are reporting your numbers to the regulator, right? The other very important aspect of standalone reporting is preparing notes to accounts. Related party disclosures can be a huge pain area for most companies, and automating related party disclosures is not at all easy because what I call entity B in my books, in my ERP could be different from what entity B calls himself or me, right? So I need to have a standardized related party master. I need to have a way in which I can capture the transaction information, but also classify what is the type of transaction that has happened. Is it a sale transaction? Is it a purchase transaction? Who's the originating company? Who is the counterparty? Right? And all of that has to be computed automatically just by looking at the base transaction data. So that is extremely challenging. It takes a lot of time if you have to do it manually. Fixed assets, you know that the trial balance only has the closing balance and opening balance by asset category. But when you're disclosing your fixed asset schedule, you need to also report what are the additions and what are the disposals that have happened in the period. Now, this information is not available in the trial balance, and most reporting solutions do not give you a solution for this. So you manually will take the fixed assets register, you will pivot that information, you will compute the additions, disposals, and all of that, and then prepare the schedule. Your AR and AP aging schedules. Again, there is no straightforward way of generating these schedules automatically today. If you have an investment register or a borrowing register, there is no straightforward way for you to prepare these schedules automatically today. And the last one, which is again a big pain area, is you have prepared the tax computations as per your statutory reporting, but the income tax treatment is different. And it is not possible today for you to automatically arrive at what is your tax liability, either from an income tax perspective or from a deferred tax perspective. So these are the various challenges that accountants typically face when they are preparing standalone financial statements. So all of this led us to build Finalyzer. And when we built Finalyzer, we had two broad objectives in mind. But before talking about what those two objectives are, let me introduce you to this space called Enterprise Performance Management. Most of you have heard about ERP because you use ERPs, but Enterprise Performance Management is a term in itself. Enterprise Performance Management solutions sit on top of ERPs. They take information from ERPs and also your other systems that you may have as part of your organization and help you automate the various pre-reporting and reporting aspects, which are broadly industry-wise broken into four categories. The first one is close management, where you're able to manage your close workflow, where you're able to create a checklist of what all you have to do, bank reconciliation, depreciation, provision management, credit card reconciliation, various aspects. And at the end of each of this activity, typically you will post a journal back in your ERP, right? And there is a structured way in which this entire close management can be handled. And there are a bunch of tools and solutions today that are available in the market that help you do that. Then there is consolidation that we spoke about extensively. Then there is management reporting and budgeting that we spoke about extensively. And the fourth bucket is disclosure management, which is about the information is ready, but now I need it in a form which can be distributed to my ultimate stakeholders, which is disclosure management, right? Today, the products that are there for each of these buckets, as you see, there are different products for different use cases of enterprise performance management. But there is no unified platform that helps you take care of close management, consolidation, management reporting, disclosure management. You have to buy various products and you have to bring them together to automate it. And this is the biggest hurdle that CFOs face today. And that is why, even if you are a large organization, even if you have deep pockets, and even if you have invested in a lot of technology, I can guarantee that there is at least about 40-50% of financial reporting activities that you still do manually, right? And that is the problem today. The solutions are compartmentalized. I like to draw a parallel to this, to how, if you are let us say you are a customer of a bank and you go to the bank. Today, what happens? Savings bank is a different department, credit card is a different department, home loan is a different department, fixed deposits and all of that, investments are a different department. For you, you don't get a unified experience. Every time you go from one department to another, they will collect the entire KYC information, documentation, everything from you. So you get a disjointed experience. So we wanted to change that. We wanted to say that let's bring Finalyzer. The big objective of Finalyzer is let it be one unified platform that cuts across all the four layers of enterprise performance management, so that CFOs don't have to run from pillar to post to automate various aspects of their reporting. For you, it's all one thing. It's pre-reporting, it's consolidation, it is internal reporting, it is external reporting. Why do you have to go to 10 different solutions to bring that together? The other big problem that we wanted to solve is that most of the solutions that are there today, whether it is SAP BPC, Oracle Hyperion, Cognos TM1, ANA Plan, with the various products that are there today, the big problem is once it is configured for your use, it is okay. It's like a black box for you, but you know that if I give these inputs, I can expect these outputs. But the business is very dynamic. Things are constantly changing. And when things are constantly changing, you cannot wait for some technical teams to make those changes for you, right? So let's say that you have three entities today in your group and you're consolidating and you're reporting. Tomorrow you add a new entity, right? Now you can't go back to the IT team and say add this entity to my group and then bring it into my consolidation, and if he says it will take 3 months, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to Excel during that period, right? So you can't go backwards, you have to only go forwards. And that is why we said the other big objective that Finalyzer should have is that it should be simple, it should be configurable, and it should be fast to implement. Our implementation team today, when they come to you and when they set up things for you, these people are chartered accountants. These are people who come with a finance and accounting background. And they understand your requirements, they talk your language, they set up everything for you, they train your team so that later it's not just about using the platform. Whatever changes need to be done, you can do it yourself. You don't have to depend on technical team, you don't have to depend on external consultants. Whether it is adding new GL accounts in your ERP which need to be grouped, whether it is adding new reports, whether it is handling new disclosure requirements, whether it is changes in your organizational structure or segment structure, everything can be managed by you. You don't have to depend on anyone. These are the two main objectives with which we built Finalyzer. The first one is the solutions that are there today, they are compartmentalized. And this is the main reason why financial reporting is only partially automated. A lot of last mile reporting is manual. Second is all of these solutions are legacy enterprise platforms and they are very difficult to maintain and change. Whereas we wanted to give a B2C experience with Finalyzer where you don't have to be trained, you don't have to learn, you don't have to go through user guides, etc. The screen should be intuitive enough for you to perform whatever you have to do as an activity or a task. Today, we have over 80 enterprise clients who use Finalyzer. Over 2000 of these, 2000 companies of these 80 enterprise clients get consolidated across 45 plus countries and 15 plus industry verticals. Our clients include companies like Philips, Intel, L&T Financial Services, Sharaf Group, Times Group, and various other companies. And every company here is a story, right? I spoke about the challenges Intel had when they came to us. Now, if I talk of Sharaf Group is headquartered in Dubai. They are a very large business conglomerate. They have more than 350 companies and they are spread over 45 plus countries. So you can understand how complex their consolidation structure would be. They have 36 intermediate levels of consolidation, right? So they have a very complex holding structure. And they not only have to do a legal entity consolidation, they also have to do a geographic consolidation and a business segment consolidation. So it is as complex as it can get. And you won't believe it that even with that complexity, they were doing the consolidation and reporting manually because they had no viable options. They had tried Hyperion, but that failed. They were evaluating BPC at the time when they came to us. And with us, not only was this implementation highly successful, it was also implemented subsequently with Sharaf DG, which is one of their large group company, which is into digital retail sales, just like Reliance Digital in India. And now Sharaf DG uses it both for their statutory consolidation as well as their MIS reporting. If I look at TVS Tires here, TVS Tires, their monthly MIS was a huge challenge. They had 45 plus reports that they used to prepare as part of their monthly MIS. These included not just financial metrics, but a lot of operational metrics and non-financial metrics. They wanted one place from where this entire information can be collated and delivered to the senior management, and that was successfully done through Finalyzer. Then there is Daikin, which, as you know, is a large Japanese air conditioning company. They have reporting requirements for the group, for their holding Japanese group company, and they also have reporting in India as per the India's reporting and consolidation. All of this was happening manually, and that is automated through Finalyzer. So there was a, just like I said that, the senior partner at Deloitte, he told me how difficult it was to automate financial reporting. I had a similar conversation with the chief accounting officer of Reliance Industries a few years back. And as you know, I mean, Reliance Industries is the largest private industry house in India, and they are also one of the best implementers of SAP in the country. And even with that beautiful implementation of SAP that they have managed to do, their consolidation and statutory financial reporting is still manual, right? And he told me that, Karthik, this is a huge favor that you are doing to the accounting industry by building a product like Finalyzer, because we have tried to automate the processes around consolidation and reporting for the past many years, and we have not been successful. Subsequent to those conversations, we have implemented Finalyzer for Network 18, which is a group company of Reliance Industries. That has been done very successfully. And in a phased manner, we will roll out Finalyzer for various group companies within Reliance Industries, right? So these are the kind of issues that we have solved for various companies by implementing Finalyzer. Uh, how did we manage to do this, right? And why was it not possible earlier? The big reason why we were able to crack the code, obviously, the first thing is that we came in only a few years back and it gave us the opportunity to think differently. Most of the reporting platforms that are there today, these are platforms that have been there for the last 30, 40 years. So there is a lot of legacy mindset in which a BPC or a Hyperion, etc., have been built or constructed. but we could look at it from a fresh pair of eyes. And we have built Finalyzer almost like Lego blocks. Now you can take a set of Lego blocks and bring them together and make a car, or you can assemble them differently to make a horse, or you can assemble them differently to make an elephant. So we have tried to take a layered approach to transforming business reporting so that by bringing those blocks together differently, you can solve your close management challenges, you can solve consolidation challenges, multi-gap reporting challenges, management reporting challenges, regulatory reporting challenges, or any other regulatory, fund reporting, local regulatory reporting. All of that can be solved through one single unified platform. So in terms of the data flow, this is just a quick view into how the data flows. One is the trial balance data from your ERP flows into Finalyzer. There's a one-time grouping of your GL accounts that happen, one-time grouping of your cost centers, profit centers that happen, and it uses that information to prepare standalone financial reports and consolidated financial reports. There's a journal entry module which helps you pass journal entries, and there's an allocation module which helps you allocate your overhead costs. And then you can configure various KPIs, reports, dashboards, etc., so that you can visualize the information whichever way you want. This is the base data, how it flows and how it helps you generate web reports, linked financial excels and dashboards. There is other data which is not coming from the trial balance. This gets captured either through templates, or even better, those schedules can be automated. Earlier, I was talking about how a lot of manual effort goes in preparing notes to accounts. So my fixed asset register can be consumed by Finalyzer to generate the fixed asset schedule automatically. My vendor and customer balances can be consumed to generate aging schedules automatically. So like that, there are various transaction or subledger level automation that can happen through Finalyzer. To summarize, Finalyzer on the base module of Finalyzer helps you prepare consolidated and standalone statutory financial reports, regulatory reports, management reports, and analytics. As add-on modules, you can automate directly your schedules from the transaction data. There's a disclosure management module where you can prepare print-ready financial reports in Word and PDF. There's a related party module which helps you prepare related party disclosures. There's a tax module that helps you compute income tax liability and deferred tax computation. And there's a close module that helps you maintain your close checklist and journals. Just some dashboards just for you to visually appreciate how the tool might look. So there's a KPI dashboard where you can see a lot of red alerts, green alerts, etc. Historically, you will know whether something is moving from green to red or something has been historically green. So these kind of alerts will notify you when you have to take specific action on certain parameters related to margins, liquidity, sustainability, or any other business metrics. You can create various executive dashboards that give you a bird's eye view of the company's performance, so you know how the company is performing across various parameters, both financial and non-financial parameters. Even your profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flows, you can visually analyze them, right? So there is a concept of link chart. So I have my profit and loss report. I click on any item on my profit and loss. Immediately I get to see a trend. I get to see a drill down. I get to see how my actuals compare against budgets. So you don't have to create various different dashboards. Just one single report. I can take any parameter on the report and I can analyze how the trends are, how the variances are, and how the drill downs are. So various waterfall charts or any other visualizations can be configured so that you can see, for example, here there's a cash flow where the amber bars are taking away from the cash flow and the green bars are adding to the cash flow. So you know step by step what is having a negative impact on your cash flow, what is having a positive impact on your cash flow. So these kind of interesting dashboards can be configured so that it aids in decision making. So from a key differentiator perspective, I've already covered two important points. One is that it's a unified platform. You don't have to implement multiple solutions. The second is it is easy to use and implement. So it cuts down the time to implement by almost 50-60% compared to existing solutions. It also cuts down the time for you to consolidate and report by 65 to 75%. Our clients have regularly told us that the productivity improvements are can be as low as 60% and as high as 80 to 85%. It eliminates person dependency. People go on leave, people leave the organization, doesn't matter. Everything is in a web cloud based environment. So somebody else can easily take it up. It eliminates huge compliance risks and compliance costs because the reporting is fast and it is accurate, right? So that sort of summarizes what Finalyzer does. With that, I'll just hand it over to Ashu.
Yeah. Thanks, Karthik. I think thanks for giving a great insight when it comes to Finalizer, and it gives a great insight when it comes to predominantly for CFO to analyze in terms of not only statutory reporting, in terms of consolidation with the current pain area and challenges they have. With that, I'll just maybe quickly share up my screen. Yeah. So now in terms of Godrej Infotech, what we are, it's been segregated into three different division or three different in terms of act, which is called, we call it act. It's automation, cloud, and transformation. And if you see predominantly when it comes to automation, we are very much there in terms of intelligent technologies, whether be it AI, ML, RPA, IoT, and a different gamut of a tech stack that we are there in the market. When it comes to the data visualizations, we are very much there in Power BI, Tableau, and the Burst. In terms of a data management, when it comes to Azure, Data Lake, SQL, and Oracle, in terms of cybersecurity, so we are very much there in terms of starting from a business consulting, implementation services, and the migration services. When it comes to the cloud, if I have to say, we are very much expert and expertise in migrating anything from a version to upgrade and migrate to the latest technologies, latest versions, be it Microsoft Dynamic Business Central, Microsoft Dynamic 365 Finance and Operation, or be it Infor Cloud Suites. So that's, we have a journey and we have a successful journey when it comes to the move to the cloud part. When it comes to the cloud services, very much there in terms of AAS, SaaS, AWS, and Azure. And in terms of in a business application, when it comes to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and the FNO part. When it comes to the transformation part, we have our own enterprise suite, which includes predominantly the Infor, which is the cloud suite in terms of Infor LN and WMS. In with that, we have Hexagon EAM, and predominantly we are there in Microsoft Stack, which is Dynamics 365 Business Central, FNO, Commerce, LS Retail, and Oracle as well. This is the enterprise gamut of the application that we have, that we support, implement, migrate. In terms of customer experience, we are predominantly very much expertise and certified in Salesforce Commerce, Microsoft CRM, Infor CRM. We have our success stories in terms of implementation with Adobe Commerce Cloud, and very much in LS Retail. So I think with that, I'll just open a floor for question and answer if you have any. And we are open to have your questions, answers, and to give you a quick insight on that, and maybe a quick chat. Maybe time still permit us to address those question and answers.
Thank you, Ashu. While we
Yes.
wait for questions and answers, questions to come up, um, I also want to reflect on the implementation that we did for
Yeah.
Amyantit, right?
Yeah.
And is there something that you want to share? Give a brief background about the company Amyantit and what we did for them. What is your experience of
Yeah.
implementing it?
Yeah, so I think yes, that was I must say it was a great, excellent teamwork that we had done it in terms of Amentat, the implementation, complete Finalizer implementation. Though it was a tough task for all of us, knowing they are into majorly they are into the cables, and they are into pipes manufacturing, and they have been there in the SAP for more almost 2 decades, where we had, and they are into spread across the country. They were having almost more than 30 plus legal entity where we had done the Finalizer implementation. I must say a successful implementation that we had done it over there. And yes, it was a great journey so far with Beyond Square. Yeah.
So, Ashu, I think there is a question. Can you just bring
Yeah.
it up
Yes.
and
Yes. Yeah, let me refer to the Q&A part. So there's a question from here, Mr. Shaman Ali. The question is, in terms of a cash flow, does this platform allows the data key in as an input, or it only pick up the cash flow data from the ERP module? And if in-out is allowed, does project-based inflow and outflow can be key in? That's the question from.
Shamun, yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shamun, for your question. Uh, in addition to taking the data from ERP, you can input the data into Finalyzer. This could be additional input in terms of cash flow adjustment, or like you mentioned, you can also provide project-based inflow and outflow information. You can upload that information in Finalyzer and allow it to prepare the cash flow, project-wise cash flow. So the answer is yes, it can be done.
Hope we are able to answer you, Mr. Shamam. Yeah. Any other questions? I think
There is
I'm
a
just
question,
seeing
yes. There's a question from Sriram.
Shriram. Yeah. I said one query. Can you differentiate? You spoke about the Finalizer is the ability to the end user to manage the platform themselves. This is the crucial ask for a finance team. Can you talk a little more about the entire dimension? Yeah.
So thanks, Sriram, for this question. So your question is, I spoke about end users being able to manage the platform themselves. Uh, it is absolutely true that most automation initiatives fail because the initial implementation is successful, but the organizational changes keep happening and the platform is not able to keep pace with the changes that are happening. And because the platform is not able to keep pace with the changes that are happening, people have to go back to Excel. And once they revert to Excel, you again can't bring them back into the platform, right? I have seen this in GMR where SAP BPC was implemented. GMR is one of the most complex consolidations in the country. And because of these issues, they had to put a stop to the to BPC that they were using for consolidation. They went back to manual modes of working. They tried a re-implementation, and as far as I know, even that didn't work. So this is a very crucial aspect, ability for business users to manage and have the destiny in their hands. Thank you for the question.
Yeah. There's another question from Venkatesh. Does it support the gap reconciliation between leading and non-leading ledgers? That was question from maybe on a SAP side.
Provide the detail
Uh,
of documents. We're creating the difference along with some
yeah.
insights. So this is like a bridge report, right? Typically, when you're preparing financials as per two gaps, you want to know whether the numbers that you have reported as per IFRS and Ind AS are matching or not matching. And if you post those gap restatement entries in Finalyzer when you're translating from IFRS to Ind AS or vice versa, then Finalyzer can provide you a simple bridge report which tells you whether the numbers being reported as per one standard vis-a-vis the other standard, whether they are matching or not, along with the differences that are coming because of these topside entries.
Yeah. There's another question from Kiran. It can show on projected balance sheet, EBITDA, cash flow for next 5 years.
Yes. Not only can you load the data for the past periods, you can also upload your budgets, etc., for the next, years of months, years, whatever, and then you can look at a projection of how you're performing.
Yeah. Hope Kiran we be able to answer your questions. I think that's all. I think the question which we have so far. I think we are able to answer all of them so far in a quick short and interest of time. Yeah.
If
We'll
there are
wait
any
for a couple.
follow-up questions, you can feel free to post them. We still
Yes.
have 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to, because we can't make it a interactive webinar. I thought
Yeah.
that we have some more time for people to post their questions so
Yes.
that we can answer them.
Yeah, there's a question from Nishant. How it handles the consolidation of acquisition during the current year or a loss of control during the current financial year.
So Finalizer allows you to change your organizational structure in the middle of the year with an ability to change the structure of the organization, so what it was before and what it is after, and also allows you to upload the adjusted TBs that are required, which are reflective of how the situation is going forward.
Any more questions? However, any more other questions post this webinar, you can feel free to write us at infotech
There
at
are
godrej.com. We
more.
will drop our, yeah, we'll
There are
drop
more
our
questions.
this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there are more questions. There, I think there are a lot of information for note which comes not directly from the ledgers. In this case, this information is getting prepared manually. If you go this template, this will take time. In case of multiple BA consolidation, to identify variance at respective BA.
Thank you, Rahul, for your question. So if I have
Yeah,
to just rephrase the question, one is, as you rightly said, lot of data that goes into notes, they do not come from the trial balance, and you end up preparing it manually and then punch in that information in a template. Then you share it with various, different people, share it through Excels. You consolidate that information, prepare it. All of this takes time. Finalyzer has a module for schedule automation with which the data from your ERP can directly come into Finalyzer at a transaction level, and the schedule can be automated without any manual intervention. And this module, schedule automation module, uses big data technology. So the performance is very fast. The refresh happens very quickly. So the amount of time that you spend while doing this, it can come down drastically. Similarly, when you're talking of business area consolidation, irrespective of whether you're doing a legal entity consolidation, business area consolidation, geographic consolidation, you will be able to identify variances in the tool, both between current period and other reporting periods, as well as between your actuals and budgets.
yeah. There's another question from Nishant. In case of a loss of control situation during financial year, it required to consolidate the profit and loss account, but not balance sheet of subsidiary at the year end. How the
This
same
is
can be handled? Yeah.
this is typically addressed through a journal entry, a profit become journal entry for that particular activity, so that we don't consolidate the balance sheet.
Any more questions?
So there's a question on whether Godrej Infotech is the owner or implementation partner.
Yeah.
So Godrej Infotech is a strategic alliance partner of Finalyzer and one of the most preferred platinum partners for Finalyzer. So Godrej takes our product to their prospects and clients and also acts as an implementation partner, certified implementation partner.
Yeah, I think you have answered, uh, Karthik. I think there are a couple of the similar questions are coming up from other team members as well. So I think you have answered this thing part. Yeah, we have still 5 minutes left to have this journey. If there are still have a questions, we are open to answer.
So Rahul has asked for my number. So
Mm.
Ashu, please share your details with Rahul to take the conversation forward, please.
Yes, 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 yes. So Rahul, I've just maybe text my email ID, which is infotech@godrej.com. You may address any of you can address your queries in terms of your anything which you would like to know further to this webinar. We are open to address any of your queries along with me and Karthik. And as Karthik mentioned, we are a strategic alliance partner when it comes to the Finlizer implementation that we had done so far. We are open to take the any questions. There's one question from Mega. What are the control for protecting integrity or the financial and the budget data? I think it's a good
We
question. Yeah.
realize, yeah, this is a very good question. We
Question.
realize
Yeah.
how important financial data is. This brings two dimensions, and which is something that I have not covered. So thank you, Meda, for bringing this up. One is that financial data, a lot of our clients are listed entities. There's a lot of unpublished sensitive information that is dealt with in the platform. So there are three layers of security that are built into the platform. One is the data transport, so that there is no tampering of the data when the data is getting transported, when the data is getting stored, or when the data is being accessed. So these are the three layers of security that is built in. And in addition to offering a public cloud model, we also offer a private cloud model for the product where the application is only accessible within your virtual private network. That is, it is not accessible from the internet, and it can be integrated. Single sign-on can be provided. It can be integrated with your Active Directory so that your login access also happens through your own company validation process. So that is how the data, and there are various other audit controls that are there in the tool. As you know, ICAI guidelines are there around audit trails from 1st of April. So many of those audit trail requirements are mandatory going forward. That is another reason why you need to seriously look at digitization of your financial reporting process.
Yeah. I think there are two more good questions. I think it came from Shriram. He's asked about the how is the entire Finalizer talk about workflow. So how the workflow works in the entire platform. And there's one question from Shaman Ali. Again, question that how is that it is a platform agnostic when it comes to Azure or AWS. So that's a question. And how is the licensing works? So Shaman, on the licensing part, you can still connect to us. We will take you forward the entire journey of licensing. But yes, Karthik will be able to answer in terms of the platform part. Yeah, Karthik,
Yeah.
there are two questions here.
So let me take Sriram's question first. From a workflow perspective, Finalizer provides an entire workflow module where you can create a checklist of your reporting activities, checklist of your close activities. You can track where things are, whether it have been completed or not. You can have a reviewer, approver kind of a mechanism so that not only is an activity performed, but it is being validated. You can upload and maintain proof of work, which means attachments, workings, all of that also you can attach in Finalizer so that if somebody asks you what is the basis for this journal entry that you have posted, so those kind of workings are also there in Finalizer. Coming to Shamun's question, um, it is in the platform agnostic. It can be implemented on Azure, AWS, Oracle Cloud, Google, GCP, etc. But our public cloud offering by default is on AWS. And if we are providing a hosted solution, we provide it on AWS. But if you have a preference for a specific platform, we can definitely look at that.
I think this,
We have implemented on Azure also, we have implemented on Oracle also, and we implemented on GCP also.
I think we'll take one last question from Pradeep, who's talk about is there any robo advisor, like if, maybe a sort of a chatbot or
This is
co-pilot?
a very
Yeah,
topical point. Again,
yeah,
I'm happy, Pradeep, that you brought it up. There's a lot
correct.
of research that we are doing on AI on two perspectives. One is on the output side, where you can get predictive analytics, you can ask questions, you get responses almost like a chat GPT kind of an interface. Second is on the input side. So on the input side, when the data comes, analyzing variances, looking at patterns that are there, identifying errors, all of that also is something that we are working on. So you should be able to see a new release from us soon, bringing these
Yeah,
AI related features.
yeah. I think with that, I will end this session for this webinar. Karthik, thank Karthik for the entire insight when it comes to giving on the Finalizer part. And thank you all the audience. Very warm welcome and very warm patiently have you been there in the entire journey of 1 hour. We look forward to connect you further to take the journey ahead and have a successful implementation. With that, thank you note to everyone. Yeah,
Thank you
Karthik.
everyone for your very interesting questions. Thank you, Ashu, for inviting me. Have a wonderful
Yes.
evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.